Here is your latest African news. South Africa. Desmond Tutu, anti-apartheid hero, dies aged 90. Archbishop Desmond Tutu, the Nobel Peace Prize laureate who helped end apartheid in South Africa, has died aged 90. Tutu was one of the country's best-known figures at home and abroad. A contemporary of anti-apartheid icon Nelson Mandela, he was one of the driving forces behind the movement and the policy of racial segregation and discrimination enforced by the white minority government against the black majority in South Africa from 1948 until 1991. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1984 for his role in the struggle to abolish the apartheid system. President Ramaphosa said Tutu was an iconic spiritual leader, anti-apartheid activist, and global human rights campaigner. He described him as a patriot without equal, a leader of principle and pragmatism who gave meaning to the biblical insight that faith without works is dead. May he rest in peace. Sudan. Christmas Day protest. Thousands of Sudanese march in Khartoum in anti-coup rallies. Thousands of Sudanese protesters rallied Saturday 2 months on since a military coup, demanding soldiers go back to the barracks and calling for a transition to civilian rule. Witnesses said crowds marched on the streets of Khartoum despite a heavy deployment by the security forces, who had blocked bridges connecting the capital to suburbs, cut lines, and restricted internet ahead of the planned protest. At least 48 people have died in crackdowns during weeks of protest. Demonstrators converged on the presidential palace in Khartoum, the headquarters of the military government in control since General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan seized power on October 25th. Burhan held civilian leader Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok under effective house arrest for weeks, but reinstated him on November 21st under a deal promising elections for July 2023. The move alienated many of Hamdok's pro-democracy supporters, who dismissed it as providing a cloak of legitimacy for Burhan's coup. East Africa. UPDF. Congolese army announces capture of ADF's biggest camp. The UPDF mobile forces together with the FARDC assault force have finally captured the much revered ADF or ISCAP camp, Gambia Yua. Gambia Yua is a stronghold of ADF ISCAP terrorists sitting on 8 acres of Virunga forest land. It is estimated to have accommodated over 600 ADF or ISCAP terrorists and their families. The camp was captured with limited enemy resistance and there was no effect on the joint forces, a joint statement read in part. According to the UPDF, the captured camp was a host to military training and Islamic radicalization activities, evidenced through the literature found, bomb-making materials, a damaged laptop computer, 129 live rounds of PK machine gun loaded in their chain, 155 live rounds of submachine gun ammunition, 3 solar panels, and ADF strength registers. Gambia. Gambia Commission recommends ex-dictator Jammeh face trial. Gambia's former dictator Yahya Jammeh should face prosecution for murder, torture, and sexual violence according to a new report by a Truth, Reconciliation, and Repatriation Commission established after he fled into exile 5 years ago. The long-awaited report recommends that a special international court be set up to try Jammeh and others in West Africa, but outside of Gambia. The report, which is based on years of witness testimonies, already had been presented to President Adama Barrow, but its posting last week marked the first time that the complete findings were made public. Gambian Justice Minister Dada Jallow said that the government was committed to the implementation of the report but won't release a paper before May on how it plans to go forward. Ethiopia. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed welcomes Diaspora to Homeland over #Great Ethiopian Homecoming. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has welcomed Ethiopian diaspora returning home in response to the #Ethiopian Homecoming challenge that he had announced. The Prime Minister stated that Ethiopia thrives with the help of collaboration between her daughters and sons. He added that Ethiopian diaspora living all over the world have shown strong solidarity with their country in times of need. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed underscored that many countries benefited in political, economic, and diplomacy sectors from the strong linkage they created with the diaspora abroad, adding that South Korea, India, China, and Mexico have undertaken exemplary works in this regard. The Prime Minister further called on members of the diaspora community who have returned home to visit impacted areas and support Ethiopians who have been affected by the TPLF aggression and investigate the extent of the atrocities committed by the terrorist group and expose them to the rest of the world upon their return to the countries where they live. Somalia. President suspends Prime Minister amid tension over elections. President Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed has adjourned the powers of Prime Minister Robel over accusations of corruption. The suspension of Robel's powers come after he and Mohamed enter into a war of words accusing each other of holding up the ongoing parliamentary elections. President Mohamed said the Prime Minister's powers will remain suspended pending a probe over allegations of corruption and misconduct. He also added that other members of the Council of Ministers would continue their duties in accordance with the laws and regulations of the country. Algeria imposes vaccine pass to boost low inoculation rate. Algeria has started requiring a vaccine passport to enter a broad range of public venues in a bid to boost the country's low inoculation rate and overcome vaccine hesitancy that has left millions of vaccines unused. The pass is now required for anyone entering or leaving Algeria, as well as for sports facilities, cinemas, theaters, museums, town halls, and some other sites. It also applies to hammams, the bathhouses that are popular across the region. Less than a quarter of Algeria's population hasn't had even one vaccine dose. The government say the measure was aimed at primarily dealing with a rebound in infection from the Delta variant. The government said other measures could be taken in the coming days depending on the evolution of the epidemic. Thanks for watching. Visit our YouTube channel Tunacheki to watch our daily news reports and our website tunacheki.tv for all the latest news updates. Also, don't forget to catch the return of our show Africa in the News on our channel. You can directly support this new series by becoming our YouTube member or becoming a Patreon. And remember, Africa is watching.